I had to sing for Prabhupada in his last 3 weeks. Prabhupada liked a very particular kind of singing, very simple. So Prabhupada always told us, don't change anything. As long as we stay on the narrow road of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, we are very safe. There's a complete united opinion on it that things have gone out of control.
Hare Krishna. I'm here with His Grace Prithu Das Adhikari, that's correct. And I'm going to ask Prabhu, can you kindly share with us some instructions that you heard from Srila Prabhupada regarding Kirtan?
You see, one thing is, I had to sing for Prabhupada in his last 3 weeks, every single day in his room, 6 hours, from 2 o'clock in the morning to 8. Somehow the Prabhupada liked my singing. And I'm not talking about myself here, I'm talking about that Prabhupada liked a very particular kind of singing, very simple. If you see a Prabhupada singing Kirtan, I mean, nobody knows how to chant better, sing better in glorification of Krishna than Prabhupada himself. No question about it. And what pleases Krishna. And some of our Kirtans, particularly when I see that the leading Kirtan here goes into another tattva, I asked Shuddha repeatedly, what would Prabhupada say to me? He would cut it down, he said. Because that's not our line. It comes from outside, actually. And so the Kirtan should be simple. It's SANkirtan that we all can follow. Because sometimes our Kirtan leaders get so lost in their own tattva that nobody can follow them anymore. You know, it loses the whole charm the Kirtan has of when somebody sings and the others repeat this melody. And it's very powerful. I mean, I've seen dogs dancing, you know, as soon as they hear the Kirtan, and they're quiet when the lead singers sing, and then everybody sings, they go, ooh. I've seen so many times even animals become affected by a simple kind of Kirtan. And Prabhupada said, Krishna called it simple for the simple. It should be simple. We should learn from Srila Prabhupada how to sing a simple Kirtan. Prabhupada didn't mind different melodies at all. You know, because why would he listen to me? I have so many different melodies. But the principle is always simplicity, very simple. There's a singer and there's people who follow this Kirtan. So we don't have a mission shift, really, in our society to get away from Prabhupada's instruction. When he left his body, 2 days before, I was standing right there with him, beside him, and somebody had to give him medicine. And so Prabhupada said, did you close the bottle? Because Prabhupada was a medical man, he would take a medicine, take a pill out and close it, keep the bottle closed because you may knock it over. So he said, did you close the bottle? I said, no, I forgot, Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, that is your disease, all of you. He said, you know how to open bottles, but you don't know how to close them. You start so many new things, and you don't see the consequences. That's the thing right there. Because you see, if there's one is an authority, if we all understand the mood of Kirtan according to Prabhupada, then there will be no division. But if we create our own, in our own mind, I want to sing this, I want to sing that way, then we create actually division in ISKCON. It's a divisive power. It's not a uniting power. You know? That we have to keep in mind, our Kirtan leaders have to keep it in mind. We want to sing in such a way that everybody can perform the SANkirtan, which means together, Kirtan together. Not any kind of solo performance that I know 100% Prabhupada will cut it down. Ask different godbrothers, they say it's not acceptable to Prabhupada. You know, so simplicity, chanting. I mean, even in dancing, since we had this subject, I saw Janani was having lots of people, Bengalis, all Bengalis, men, women, children, sitting in front of him. He gives lecture. And then he said, now you should dance. And they all got up and they danced. And I was surprised. I go, you know, the classical Swami dance that Prabhupada did, everyone, men, and I understood this is where we are coming from. That's our tradition. There's no such a thing that people have this, this extraordinary display of bodily emotions right in front of the deity, which we are supposed to worship in awe and veneration. So I only, since you asked me this question, I only would tell our listeners we should be very conservative and not be very careful not to introduce things that would not be authorized by Srila Prabhupada. He said us, start some new things, you don't see the consequences. Then he said, you know how to live, you don't know how to die, and therefore I have to show you. And he called Yaduba, and that's why the film was made, the final instruction. Based on this, that is the sequence of it, how it developed. So Prabhupada always told us, don't change anything. How many times he told us, don't change anything? Because if you change, we don't see the consequences that has in the long run. It is not uniting the movement, it's still calling divisiveness. And criticism arises, If you're all on the straight, one time Prabhupada, the Ganges came, and Sadadanya Prabhu came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, the Ganges is rising, but it cannot be on our property. And Prabhupada said, how is that? He said, well, Bhaktisiddhanta's road keeps the water away. And then Prabhupada said, that's the thing. As long as we stay on the narrow road of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, we are very safe. If you go to the left, if you go to the right, you drown. This is right from the mouth of Srila Prabhupada. So Kirtan is one thing we have to preserve. The legacy of our Founder-Acharya, who taught us everything about cooking, about Kirtan, about how to dance, and down to the detail. And we should not just push it aside and allow our undeveloped spiritual mind to speculate on how to do Kirtan, how to do this, how to do that. It's not free for all. We have to defend a huge tradition and continue a huge tradition of Kirtan as has been taught by the Acharyas. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Great. Can you share a message for our Kirtaniyas of today and tomorrow, those that lead Kirtan today, those who lead Kirtan tomorrow?
As I said, I personally would think it would be good if they would ask all the proper disciples what they think about it. They tell them exactly the same thing. There's a complete united opinion on it, and things have gone out of control. And this is not what we learned from Prabhupada. And if you want to have oneness in our movement, it's only possible if there's oneness in authority. And that authority is Srila Prabhupada. And actually, no other opinion should be allowed. But as in the modern world, people tend to concoct. And in this way, we lose our purity ultimately. Because if you follow Prabhupada's instruction in detail, then the whole thing is very powerful. Because we get the blessing of Srila Prabhupada. If we concoct devotional service according to our own whims, we don't get the blessings. And without the blessings, we don't go anywhere. That's the most important thing, to get the blessings of the Acharyas. Then we can do something. So this individuality that has been developed in the field of Kirtan and dancing also, this is not going to be successful, because it may be modern today, but it will be old-fashioned tomorrow, because time is changing. There's Prabhupada's teachings, Prabhupada's examples of the child will never change. It will be there forever. And if it's now not on the surface, it will surface again. And people in future say, well, we've got to get back to the roots. We're going to hear from Prabhupada what he wanted to do. So, Hare Krishna, that's all.
Hare Krishna.
Okay?
Can you share something from your experience when you were with Srila Prabhupada and you heard Kirtan from Srila Prabhupada or in Srila Prabhupada's presence? What was it like, and what was your experience?
Well, I have some stories. I can talk about a couple of hours, because I had quite a lot of experience with Prabhupada. So one time Prabhupada came to Germany, and I was managing a festival, and I had every name on a little metal, magnetic strip. The whole board was plastered with 200 people. And so I was running people from this department to that department, from the kitchen to the daily department, from the daily department. So everything I could do like this, and then negotiate with the people how they like this idea. So somebody was behind him. Srila Prabhupada was there. He said, "What is that?" He said, "Srila Prabhupada, all the devotees are here on this board." He said, "And then what you do?" He said, "I can take a devotee from this department to that department, from this department to that." He said, "How does that work?" I said, "That's magnetic. They're magnetic tapes." He said, "Magnetic management. Can I try magnetic management?" So I said, "Yes, Prabhupada." So he started moving around. A couple of people then looked at me straight into the face, and he said, "This will fail 100% unless there's love and trust between the devotees." He repeated again, "Unless there's love and trust, this movement cannot flourish." You know? So that was an awesome thing he said, you know. It was one of these things. I mean, Prabhupada, when he met different professors in Germany, he said so many awesome things, you know, that just they condensed the whole thing into a nutshell, into 1 or 2 sentences, like a sutra, practically speaking, you know. I don't know how much time you want to spend on that.
Maybe you can share one more story.
Well, I tell you a story which is just completely amazing, which shows Prabhupada's influence. When Prabhupada came to Germany, he wanted to speak to big people. And I had earmarked one professor, Heidegger. He's world famous. You cannot study anywhere in the world philosophy in a university without facing Heidegger. He was probably the biggest mind of philosophy in the last century. So I went to him. I found out, because I had to have an education in a university. You know, you were in a university. And so I found out where he lives, in Freiburg, Germany. And when I came, I rang the bell, an elderly lady came out and said, "Oh, you look very different." I said, "Relax. I'm a follower in the Asian tradition. I'm actually a monk." He said, "And then what do we do?" He said, "My spiritual master wants to see your husband, Professor Martin Heidegger." He said, "Young man," he said, "that's far too late." I said, "Is he gone?" He said, "No, he's upstairs." I said, "Then?" He said, "He doesn't understand anything anymore. You know, he's gone." So I said, "He won't complain if I go up there." He said, "You're right, it doesn't matter, you know, if you go up." So I sat beside him, and she was sitting at the feet, and then something amazing happened. I said to him, "Professor Heidegger, can you hear me?" He couldn't hear me. I said, "Professor Heidegger, do you hear me?" No, he didn't. You know, took Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and touched his hand, you know. As soon as he found the book, he grabbed the book, you know, and he opened his eyes, you know, like this. He lifted the book and said, "Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita, I know this book, I know this book." And he started crying and pressed Bhagavad Gita to his heart, and then he fell back into a coma. And his wife said, "How did you do that?" He said, "I've not seen him like this since 5 years. And I said, "I don't know what happened to your Prabhupada's power." Because he was not irreligious. He wrote, one of the last things he said was, "Only God can help us. As far as the world is concerned, only God can help us." So Prabhupada reciprocated to that, and so he woke him up. It's just inconceivable, after being in the darkness of his mind, of his gone mind, spent mind, and all of a sudden he woke up right there. His wife was in a shock. This is an example of Prabhupada's mercy, how deep that goes, that he can wake somebody up from the dead, practically speaking. Like this.
Jai Ho, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you so much, Prithu Prabhu. I'm grateful to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, sir.